Today's guest speaker really needs no introduction. He's been with our club over a year.
Turn your mic on.
He is the retired professor from FAU, and he developed the Assistive Technology program there. We're very lucky to have him, and I think you'll have a very informative and entertaining presentation. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Don Grossman.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and start with, try and get the slideshow started up here. Here we go. And get back off here. We're going to be working with assistive technology. And as usual, we kind of want to start with a definition of that. And assistive technology, as I work with it within the laboratory that we put together, has to do with any kind of technology that helps people do everything that you normally do in everyday life, which includes walking, talking, breathing, writing, pointing, all those kinds of devices. If there's an assistive way of being able to do that so that you can do it better or even do it period, that's what we kind of looked at. So it's just technology that allows you to work a little bit better. Or as we work with the Americans with Disabilities Act, just level the playing field. Make it even like with everyone else. All right, so in the Assistive Technology Computer Lab is kind of where I started. You can see here we've got like one of the devices with the large print keyboards and the voice recognition stuff. The entire lab, you see, was pretty well populated. But that's where we started. And the idea here then, I want to try and take this technology and move it into the home. So you can use this, and some of it has to do with being lazy, but my objective when I try and put this together was to, if I had a returning veteran that was in a wheelchair with a disability, how can I make a condo? How can I make a living facility where they could be operational? So I am going to use my condo as an example of kind of what I used to go through, moving it from the laboratory into living facilities. So welcome to Landon House. This is what I call my residence. And again, what we're going to try and do here then is to look at what's going on currently within my living quarters and some of the new technologies that are just kind of going on the market, the new things that are about ready to come out there. So we'll kind of be bouncing back and forth where you can see where it goes in and how it kind of works together. So as you start to enter my residence here, I started off with a keypad system here. You've got the keypad set up here on the outside. This is the inside part here also that you can work from the inside of the house. This operates with not only just a key, but it also works with either a 4 or 5 digit enter code. It also works with the Z-Wave linkage. It also has internet linkages also, so that when someone comes in and punches in their code, it talks to my internet then calls me up and talks to my Bluetooth hearing aids and says, so-and-so just entered your house. And then I can go turn on the cameras and take a look and see who did that sort of thing. Also, as you walk into my house, this is the first thing that you pass. Starting with a motion sensor here, but it's also a motion sensor. It determines light, it determines humidity, it determines temperature, all built into a little wireless device right there. I also have another one over here, a little backup. This one also is linked with the cameras also, so that if it's an unauthorized enters, it turns on the camera and records whoever's in there wandering around kind of thing. And as a backup, always, you gotta have an Alexis. So if I'm really bored and my dog doesn't want to talk to me, I argue with Alexa. And she's getting really good at it. So I've got all those kinds of facilities that take care of me as I come into the house. These also work with if-then kinds of statements also. We'll talk about that in a second. So as you walk into my place, it notices that I'm home. Easy for me to say. Great. All right, anyway, it turns on my lights, turns on my dining room lights. It also, in the master bathroom, it also turns on the lights in the master bathroom. Bang. So I have now a light pathway that gets me back to my bed if I'm coming in that kind of condition, or not. That's right, after I just got back from a little journey and I got vertigo while I was on this trip, and I haven't gotten rid of it yet. So if I just fall over, just kind of prop me up, I'll be good. All right, so that's kind of what you begin to deal with in my house when you come in. You run up to the next one here, Barry. All right, so again, some of the newer technologies that are out there. One of the companies now is called Vestigo. They also took over Freedom Scientific and a series of other organizations that have a lot of equipment that was used in my laboratory. This device right here is a refreshable braille strip. Now, I don't know if you can see along the top of it there, there are refreshable dots that pop up so you can read line by line by line. Also on the top there is a braille keyboard so you can like type in braille. On the bottom part are also linkages for you to be interactive with computers so you can send it to print, you can do page up, page down, that sort of thing also while you're working with just a refreshable braille strip. And it's portable, also to go in your office if you wanted to do that. Also, one of the other devices they've created is an enlarger. Now, this is an enlarger. You can see how it's like the size of a phone. This is an enlarger here. And again, you just turn this on, it blows it up, and you can, in this case then, read with large print. The one that they have here, also you can just take a picture of the magazine or the book or whatever you're looking at. You can scroll throughout that. It remembers that. It reads it out loud to you, so you've got voice output of it. So you can do all kinds of manipulating with this device also. And then also in the lab was something called JAWS, which stands for Job Access with Speech. Probably the most predominant screen reader that is out there on the market currently. So you can have a completely blank screen that you can't see or anyone can see, but it reads everything that's on that screen. So you could be totally blind and totally interactive with your computer, etc., etc. Other devices were also just nothing, something very simple like just a magnifier where you can put a whole book underneath a camera. It blows it up really big and totally interactive with that, which has been around for a while. And then this one is also, you can see, kind of looks like a tablet that you can kind of hold around, but they've got it to the point now where you can begin to identify objects out there and blow them up really big because they're too far away, you can't focus on them, but it can identify objects that are out there and give you more information about that. That same company, which was kind of founded and run by a gentleman by the name of Ray Kurzweil, Kurzweil, who has put out a lot of products. He's the very first one that put out something called the Kurzweil reading machine, which this is before the PC. You used to be able to have like a scanner. You would put a book on it, it would scan it, and then read the book to you. Now you've got it not just a page at a time, but you put the whole bloody book in there and bam, it'll read the whole thing to you that way. Also, he also worked on something called voice recognition. Ray Kurzweil and Dragon Dictate my bad. Oh, my bad. All right, so in this case, the voice recognition stuff, that was a big competition. Dragon Dictate and Ray Kurzweil both were competing from different ends of the spectrum on how you do voice recognition types of things. In this case, his is taken to the point to, his was got to be kind of well known. Has anyone here heard of Siri? Yeah, that's his. So he took it one direction, Dragon Dictate took it the other direction. One of them was individual readers, 60,000 word vocabulary, Dragon. The other one was anybody can use it, and now the vocabulary is large enough that it really doesn't make that much difference. So it's huge. And lastly, one of the other predominant things he did was Stevie Wonder. Y'all heard of Stevie Wonder? Yeah. He built a keyboard for Stevie Wonder. They were both from Boston. And the keyboard, what Stevie wanted to have was a keyboard he could take from venue to venue to venue and not have to take a piano tuner with you and take the piano with you. He could just fold it up and take it with him. So Ray Kurzweil also built the keyboard, the Kurzweil keyboard, which is also one of the most predominant that you will see out there on the market also. And that's what he used to be able to do the voice recognition stuff, but that's another whole lecture. All right, one of the other devices that are out there, this is one of the new ones. This is called the Opticam i2, and this is just a small device that hooks on the side of your glasses. If you can see barely, can you see on the side of the glasses right there, that little device? Yeah. All right. That is set up so it sets and looks kind of where you're looking, and as you can do several things with it. You can have it read a page, so I can point at a page, I can point to the page, it'll read the page to me. The other one that gets me all excited is now that Apple and those folks out there at the airports have got the facial recognition working very well, they also have facial recognition built into it also. You'll have to program it, of course, to a certain extent, and you just point to somebody and touch the side of your glasses and say, this is so-and-so, and it'll tell you who it is. So that's one of the big, oops. All right.
Go back. What'd you do?
I messed up.
All right, let's go back.
Run the B again, please.
There you go.
All right, thank you. So yes, my vision is such that I don't have any detailed vision and be able to, it's not that I don't like you all, I cannot see your faces well enough to be able to tell who you are. So that, for me, would be an ideal piece of equipment to just go and say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, and that's so-and-so, and you get to know with whom you're conversing with. So that's one of the new technologies that's out there that I find extremely exciting. And then it also gives you ability when you're at like the grocery store, et cetera, to be able to read the barcodes on the products or read the labels of the products, and it will tell you what these different products are throughout the grocery store or wherever you have to be shopping. So that's some of the new stuff that's out there with this Opticam. And again, it's just that little device sitting right there on the side of the glasses that holds it in place and does all those kinds of cool things. Yes.
The recognition, like I don't remember your name.
I don't either.
So what? This is and I say to you, how do you do, Mr. Dan Grossman? How do you do? And then you say Sandra, and I say my name is Sandra. So the next time, and I have that thing, and I meet you, I'm in front of you, and I don't remember your name.
Yes.
How is it going to tell me?
All right, I look at you, I touch the side of that device, it takes a look at your face and says, this is Sandra.
In other words, I have it on, and I look at you, I touch the device,
Yes.
and it will say to me, this is Dan Grossman?
No, Don Grossman.
Don Grossman?
Yes.
You're
Once
kidding!
you've told it that, you have to tell it the first time.
That's what I've just said.
Yes.
You gotta tell me.
Once you tell it.
And then I see you, but I don't remember your name.
Yeah.
And I look at you,
Yeah.
and I hit this.
Yeah. Since
You
that's,
should give us an example of each one so I know exactly.
exactly.
Oh, amazing. So
It's
I
probably
wanna-
AI.
That's what I said.
Ah.
This is AI, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence.
Yes. Well, no, this is straight memory.
Okay.
It's not learning anything except what you teach it to learn. AI would be running through all of your phone pictures, putting that in it, and then updating your memory within that. That's the next step.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I saw this. I nearly wet my pants. This was really cool.
Don,
Sir,
Don, question.
Sure.
How would a person who's blind, doesn't wear glasses, utilize that?
Well, this is something I've always wondered about.
Wear fake glasses?
Most people that I know are blind, and I've never figured this out, wear sunglasses. Why? They can't see why they're wearing sunglasses. But use the frame as something just to hold your device. I mean, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I'm blind. So instead of me hiding that from everybody, if I give you that information and I tell you that I'm blind and I can't see your face, please tell me who you are when I talk to you. That helps me and doesn't embarrass me. And I'm assuming you prefer the information. It's like, oh, he really doesn't like me because he doesn't talk to me. So I figure the more information the person has about me as that respect is out there, fine. So if I'm blind, I have no problems wearing a pair of glasses or just a pair of frames to hold that device so I can point to people and it tells me who they are.
Amazing.
Okay, moving right along. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm looking at climate control within my house also. And yes, I have the Honeywell thermostat, and it mounts on the wall there. It's got the temperature, humidity, etc., all linked in there. And if you don't like that in your good core, you can pick pretty much any color you would like. You can also program these so you can say, when I leave in the morning, I want you to raise the temperature up to such and such degree, and a half an hour before I get home, it turns it back on so it's cool when I get home, and I save energy all day long. So yes, you can program it to be able to do that sort of stuff. But they've also got some new stuff out now too, called the keying zoning system. And essentially what this is doing now, which I thought was really a good idea, is start with vents that you put in the regular outlet within your house, and they're battery powered so they can open and close the vents on their own. They also have a thermostat built into each one of them also, so it's interactive and able to know what the temperature in that particular area is. You can also add extra thermostats in other places around the house if you choose to do that. And lastly then, there is a bridge that links thermostats and vents and your heating, venting, and air conditioning system all with one another so that it can open and close different zones. So if there's the back room that's used for guests and you never use it, you say, shut that one down. Don't waste my energy heating or cooling that spot back there. Just do it that way. Or you can set it with your if-then, that if there is motion, is there activity back there in that room, then open up or heat or cool that particular area also. So that's one of the newer kinds of systems out there. I was wondering how they were eventually going to do that, but boy, they've done a really good job with this one. I like this one a lot. They were having little problems getting it started initially, but then I think Lowe's bought them, and now they're happier possum eating bumblebees. All right, so anyway, the detector that I was telling you about earlier, that noticed me when I came in, as I said, it's got all kinds of different kinds of things you can do. It determines the amount of light that you've got in the area. It also determines then motion. It also determines the humidity that's out there. It remembers the temperature that's going on out there. And then this is all interactive with your if-then statement kinds of stuff. So I come in, it notices that there is motion. Okay, somebody's home. Then it goes and takes a look. Is there light in the house already? So if it's light in the house, that means the sun is probably still up, so I don't need to do anything. If it's not light in the house, then I turn on a light. So you've got the if-then statement. So if I come in, there is motion, there is no light in the house, turn on the lights. And then I showed you the sequence of lights that are turned on within the house. All right, some of the newer technologies now that are kind of working that area. You all have, most of you I imagine, have seen the iRobot kind of stuff, the little vacuum cleaner that runs around your house underneath the...
Roomba.
Well, Roomba is one of the models. The company is iRobot, but they have the little vacuum cleaner that runs around your house and chases the dog and goes underneath the couch and cleans up all around, mostly the kinds of... if I had a dog that shed, I would say yeah, but it doesn't. But it still goes around and picks that sort of stuff up. That company now has taken it up to the next level. This is the group of folks who did that. Now, I don't know if you can see barely on this, it's a walker kind of stuff, and you see that little screen there in the center of the walker?
Yeah.
That links into the new system they've got now, where they are using that same technology, except now making it in 3D. So now you have the stairs, you have the walls, you have the obstacles that are all sticking up within your room, and it can also then create a pathway to get to where you need to go. I was noticing they were using this a lot in like hospitals where they had to get from their room into therapy and they couldn't see well enough or were lost in there, didn't know how to do it. They just say go to therapy. It would then create on that little screen a path to be able to follow all along without running into too many objects if you can't see well enough to be able to just follow the line, follow the breadcrumbs, as it were. So that's one of the new 3Ds that they've increased up from the iRobot that allows you to be able to do that. In my living room, wait. I have a large 48-inch TV, and that's an assistive device for myself. So what can I do with that? Well, these are the things that I can do with my screen. Yeah, I can watch regular TV in the HD 4K big butt screen TV stuff. It's nice for me to be able to do that. But I can also have it linked up to Alexa. Alexa, if I want to do some sing-alongs and stuff, we can say, Alexa, play such and such a song. It'll play that song, and it'll also then, on the side there, screen along the words so I can sing along with it if I want to be able to do that. So, and also the other interactive that you can normally do with Alexa. And also, I've got it linked up to my regular computer and the network of my house, so I can also have really big screen stuff to be able to do a little more detail, to be able to put things together so that I can see it. So yes, that large screen as a monitor, as a TV, as a link with Alexa has been a real decent accommodation for myself to be able to put that sort of thing together.
Don, is that with the Firebox?
It does have, I do have a Firebox with that. There are two ways you can do that. The one in the living room, I have the Fire Cube that goes with that. And since you have more than one HDMI input, you can have it go to HDMI 1, go to HDMI 2, go to HDMI 3, or go to the TV, go to Alexa, go to whatever, and it will do the same thing with there.
You can also just mirror it without cables frequently on the new TVs.
Okay. Yes.
You also edit your personal photos using a program with that, right?
Yeah. Yes, so yes, I can see it to be able to put this stuff together, so yeah, it's not too embarrassing that way. But anyway, those are the things. The other thing, I lost HDMI 2 and 3 on my system. It got flaky. So I got a box. One works fine. So I've got a box now that runs to HDMI 1, and then I put the cable, the Alexa, and the computer into that box, and now I can tell it just what, go to the computer, and it calls that up on the screen, or go to Alexa, and it calls that up on the screen. So now I can talk my way through that also. All right. New and exciting technologies. Let's see what else is going on. Yep, we've all seen those, the Blade Runners. So now they've got devices now that if you need a prosthesis, you got a little extra kick there. So that's been a really, really interesting line to draw. How do you make it so that it levels the playing field without giving you an advantage? And that's been one of the really, really hard things to balance out. So yes, you've got the Blade Runners. Also, they've taken it up also in just the neural skeleton stuff that straps on, so that you've got the capabilities. If you've got just some movement in your fingers, you've got a device where you can like pick stuff up, hold stuff for yourself, etc. So just a very simple neural skeleton kind of device that allows you, again, to be more functional, to be able to be interactive within your environment. Yes. Time?
Oh.
Oh, good. My security. I know it's a big deal with Barry. I mean, I've tried to maintain the attitude is I just don't say anything I don't particularly want people to hear, and my life is probably a lot more open than most people are comfortable with. But this is what I've done with security within my house. We've got the capabilities to be able to do doors opening and closing, windows opening and closing, to monitor that sort of stuff. Smoke detection, CO2 detection, and unauthorized movement within your house, cameras. For example, I've got movement in my house all the time because I have a dog. I don't want it to go off every time she decides to go in and get a drink of water. So there is a sensitivity level. It's okay for her to walk around, but anything bigger than her, if she has a friend over, then I need to know. So that kind of things are available also. So you've got the doorbells and the peepholes, etc., electronically that you can take a look at. So if someone rings your doorbell, it comes up on your screen, say, yeah, okay, that's fine. These are the sensors here that you can see that's got, if the window's open, one of them stays plugged, the other one's gone, and you can't, someone's opened the windows. There's the keypad inside, so if you've got a special code, punch that in when you get home, clears off the safety things. And then the watch. Watch the watch. That is the latest technology they're working with. And it does more than just give you time. I got mine because I have a tendency, I'm more of a loner than I used to be, and if I fall over, I would like someone to know that I fell over. He's no fun, he fell right over. So I have been putting on the Assistive Technology site a whole division of what's going on with the Apple Watch. And there are a myriad of apps that are available for this watch besides just falling down. It will contact somebody that's on your emergency list, or if not had that, it'll call 911. It also has GPS built into it, so that if I'm partying down in the middle of the park somewhere and I fall down and hurt myself, it lets it lets the fire station know exactly where I'm located within that park to be able to find me, kinds of things. So there are lots of, so I've started on my website once a week or so. I've been trying to update new apps and give you a little more information about what's going on with the apps in the Apple Watch. That's another whole course altogether. So there's some really amazing stuff going on with that phone. All right, that's my control center. And the most important for that, for me right now, are up here. I've got one here, and I've got another system back there. I've got battery backups. So even if one dies, I've got a secondary backup. So I've got battery backup. So if my power goes out, I've still got the ability to be able to interact with my house. Otherwise, I'm running around blind, so to speak. So, yes, battery backups, big deal for me. There's my modem that's set here. This is my contact with the outside world there. But here's the one right there. This is the Norton Core. When they put this out initially, I was going like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. I like that idea. So the Norton Core is my router. All of these devices throughout my entire house have to go through the router. So I could get Norton Utilities or whomever for each one of those devices throughout my entire house. All the computers, all of the thermostats, all of my phones, all of that sort of stuff. Or if I put it in the Norton Core, which is updated whenever you want to update it. It does it like weekly or daily if you want it. But all of the latest antivirus is in the Norton Core. So if it has to go through the core, it's going to be protected throughout my entire house, so I don't have to update everything throughout the whole thing. I like when they did that. I haven't seen, there's people working on that besides Norton. I haven't seen anyone yet, but yeah, it's coming. And I think that's going to be a really good idea. We also have here then, I have two backups. I've got one regular backup that is a 4 terabyte that's just backup from my computer system in the house. I also have a second iCloud. So I have my own cloud in addition to the other backup for the stuff. So I've got data. Boy, have I got data. All right, and down here then, these are the hubs. These are the main devices that link to what goes on within my place. I've got one smart homes, which is the install stuff. I have one that is the Samsung smart things. Excuse me, smart things. That's one of the most comprehensive that I've found. And I also, what's up with that?
Oops, I'll fix you.
Fix it. Think.
You're over here.
All right. And also then, yes, on the left-hand side there is the Blink Hub, which are the cameras throughout my entire house. So I can do the living room or the bedroom or the patio or wherever I want within the house. So those are the hubs that I've got within there. I also have the charger there for my hearing aids, which are also Bluetooth linked. So nothing happens in my house without me knowing what happens in my house. If the system goes down, it says your system's down, etc., etc. So I know at all times, if someone comes into my house and says so-and-so came into your house, I can go then look at the cameras and see if they're behaving themselves. So that is, although it looks like a bit of a rat nest, it is quite functional and does everything I need to do in one spot. All right, and the newer technologies here, just a little finish up stuff. With your phone now, you can start moving your phone around, and in this case, this is the phone where you can take a picture of a page or stuff and it'll read to you what's on the label, what's on the page, what's on the flyer, what's on your mail, whatever. So can you just take a picture of it and start reading it? They've also increased that up a little bit now, so it has recognition devices. In this case, it can see that that's like a blue plant. So as I scan around devices, it'll tell me what different devices are, different objects within in this case, mostly a table or a place where you can read it. You saw also the ones where the lady was holding it up totally, so it was more of a distance capability. So it's all progressing, all slowly moving faster so that it can be totally comprehensive. All the pieces slowly
Don?
going together. Yeah.
Is this an app?
Yes. And it's free for the first 30 days.
How much is it after that?
I didn't ask.
What's it called?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, I started looking at just the pages of Assistive Technology from the Electronic Consumer Show, just AT. And there were probably 15 or 20 pages of companies listed of new devices for assistive technology. I only began to cover what goes on. I could do this for a long time.
Does that OCR one then turn it into voice so that you hear it all?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes. Yeah, there's lots of things out there. OCR is working really, really well, obviously. So, yeah, so you can, I mean, even just take pictures of books and it'll read them to you. There's apps for like that on your phone. So that's pretty cool. All right, and they've got now, they're kicking it up another notch, something called Heard That. And particularly if you've got hearing aids, you've been into a situation where you've gone and sat down in a restaurant and the noise is just too much. They started building a technology, Bose started doing it with the noise canceling type, where they reverse the wave sign so you can sit on the airplane and it cancels out the noise of the jet engines, so you don't hear anything except the music that you're trying to listen to. The next step that they have done with that is now with Heard That, where they're taking the sounds of the crowd, canceling out just the crowd sounds, so that just the person with whom you are conversing is what comes through on your hearing aids. So they've kicked that noise canceling up to the next level, and it's working pretty well that I can see. The last big device that I saw out there was a little device like this that is hooks onto your wheelchair. Again, these are for people with really limited mobility. They're trying to make, trying to exist with a wheelchair. And you've got a device here that is a 360-degree camera that sets all the way up. And as you can see, it mounts here on the chair, and it also is interactive with screens, communication, all that type of thing, so you can become as independent as possible, get around to where you need to go, build your maps, not back into something if you have a mobility to turn your head around, etc., etc. So that's kicking it up to the next level also. So these are the beginnings of some of the tools that are out there. And any questions? You're going to have to self-recognize.
Yeah, I'm Steve.
Yeah.
That tablet that can recognize different objects in the distance, would that be a help for travelers in a strange city?
Repeat that question, please.
Yeah. With the traveling, would that be good for travelers? Well, let me tell you the technology that they're working with on that also. They've got that down to the point where some cities, and they're beginning to do this with more and more cities, where they have gone through with, like, you've seen the Google thing that drives up and down everyone's street, right?
Yeah.
So they program the major cities, so if you've got a device like that, you can put it up and you take a picture of the building or the street that you're on, and that building and street, then it says this is such and such a street and such a building. It tells you where you are, how to get to where you need to go from that point on. So that's where that technology is going. It's got some leaps and bounds to get there, but it's on its way and it's pretty exciting.
All right, what about if you could look at systems within a building to detect where different rooms are in a building?
Yes.
So that would
that's-
be like for firemen coming on the scene of a new building, you'd be able to find out where things are right away by pointing this tablet at them?
If it were programmed, if that data, it has to have the data from somewhere. You can either create it on the fly, or if it hasn't already been done, there's just, that's, yeah,
Do you have a price on this?
yes,
What is it?
I don't know. But there is a price on it.
Thank you.
I don't know, but you can find them on there's a lot of companies that just specialize in just, thank you.
Okay, folks, let's give Don a great hand for a wonderful presentation.